That was one of the most intense tracks from Fur Fighter's Vigo's Revenge. And I think it's quite suitable for, one portion of this next mission. Ugh, Mephisto's turf. This is gonna be a handful. Welcome back to another chapter of the search for Shalla-Bal. Last time, we actually went to Skullrose, and the entire team actually, including the day crew of the Zenlavian crew, have actually entered Skullrose in the fortress to search for Shalla-Bal, and the team met up with the Emperor, even though his name's technically Kylor, but it's actually irrelevant in the game. Anyway, same thing went with the other missions. They had no luck with the Shalla-Bal. Visions were wrong, which meant only one thing. Terry's vision was right, out of all of them. And they're on their way to Mephisto's turf. Ugh. Let's just get this over with, shall we? I'm not looking forward on doing this. Chapter 6. It was during the wee hours. Terry woke up with a chill, meaning that something was wrong. She realized that Norrin was missing. She frantically searched the entire ship and kept calling his name, but with no results. She saw the night crew and alerted them that he ran away. The head of the group told her that they are arriving at a new destination which was 5 light years away. He was certain that Norrin would be there looking for Shalla-Bal. And I had no name for it. I wasn't lucky this time. Just then, Trake, Fanan, and the rest of the gang stepped into the cockpit. Sue asked Terry what she said was true. Fanan replied that Norrin was so desperate he left to pursue Shalla-Bal alone. The mothership went into light speed and arrived at their new location in less than 30 minutes. It was a dark blood-red planet that looked like it was dying as they saw explosions coming from the surface. Telepath as she was, Terry held her head as she told the team that she kept hearing screams of brutal agony. The strangest thing was that the planet was dying, but yet it remained still. It was as if it was destroying itself repeatedly. Norrin has to be at that horrible place, and I think Shalla-Bal is there too. Determined about his welfare, she said, "Let's do it!" They've trusted their instincts, and Reed and the foursome ran to the Astro Wing. They couldn't use the Fantastic Car because the planet's condition was so intense. Terry whispered, "I think this is the place where we had those dreams. Unlike Fanan's, Elmar's, and Jartran's, this could be the one." He nodded, and the Astro Wing headed to the perishing planet with the mothership close behind. It was like flying through Jupiter's great red spot as the vessel entered the atmosphere, and then it felt a strong pull dragging the guys inside. She lost control for a few seconds, and then they saw demon-like creatures emerge from the ground in nearby tunnels. Johnny wanted to take the fight outside as he engulfed himself into a flame when he jumped out. "Flame on!" At the mothership, Fanan ordered, "Run to attack! Fire at will!" The Astro Wing traveled slowly as it shot at the attackers with their piercing eyes, fierce teeth, and razor-sharp claws. But not all of them went down. Their speed was incredible, and at times they adapted to the weapons. One of them jumped onto the fighter jet, and Terry told her passengers to hold on as she knocked them off with a few rolls. Johnny had some difficulty too as he became more and more exhausted from fighting the menacing creatures. They were fast, but also strong. When the Astro Wing passed below some of the little caverns, it was held down by a powerful gravitational force. She tried to hold it up with her force fields, but it was almost no use. Just as they couldn't take the pressure, Terry was able to control it again, but this time it was Norrin who saved it. He lifted the Astro Wing as they encountered more pressure, even the mothership, which was only miles away. Soon the ship stopped safely as the guys talked to him of his whereabouts. He explained that Shalla-Bal must be imprisoned somewhere in this planet. He could somehow feel it, that she's in desperate need of rescue, and that she's expecting him to come. He insisted that he should lead while the others followed. But before they made their move, he had an idea. He wanted someone to merge their powers into one like they did last time. "Oh no, I'm not going down that road again. Surely it's dangerous, but do you have any brighter ideas?" Then Reed stood up and said he'll go this time. He's confident that I'll use their powers wisely. With that said, Norrin went through the entrance and made Reed very flimsy. He became lightheaded and his breathing became shallow. Later, when Norrin was done, he fell to his knees and breathed heavily. When his head cleared, they put their hands in, and Reed touched them. He felt a jolt run through his arm, then he took it off, and felt like he was invincible. Ben and the others looked and felt different as they realized their powers were gone. Reed decided to lead the way with Norrin, and off they went. Shortly they met more of the creatures, and Reed realized that he was stronger and faster with his new abilities. Just as they were in the clear, they felt an even more powerful pull, but this time it was crashing into the obstacles ahead on the ground. They heard a maniacal laugh. They saw a big devil in front of them. Terry and Reed recognized him from the dreams they had before they went to Zenlaw. He said in an evil tone, "You've made it this far, but you'll never be able to pass me. You've come to the right place, and it will be your final resting place as it was Shallah's." In response, the surfer's expressions went grim. He asked, "What did you say?" "I know you. You're Norrin Rad, a herald who disobeyed Galactus. You went into exile, and so you were unable to see your loved one again. Because of you, darn error, she belongs to me." In disbelief, he told him that he could still feel her presence, alive and well, until he saves her. "You've come too late! She belongs to me!" Norrin lunged toward the demon, but he fought back with a punch. Holding his arm, he tried again, but with Reed by his side and the Astro Wings shooting him. It was as if they were having no effect on him. The vessel took severe damage, and the duo were getting more weary every minute. They stopped, and Terry requested to head back to the mothership, since it can't take much more abuse. Just as she was about to give up, the demon swiped at it like a fly. That was enough to let it shut down. Norrin and Reed watched helplessly as it crashed and burned to nowhere. In shock and fear, Fanan and his crew observed everything that transpired. "We're dead meat! That was Mephisto they just dealt with. We can't give up. We must save Shalla-Bal. Drake, it's now up to us. We must take the fight to them. There may not be a winning chance, but I can tell you this. As long as there is a single breath in Norrin's body, he will not give up. And neither can we." He added his hand. Everyone else pitched in to save Shalla-Bal and fight whatever's in their reach. Hidden somewhere, the Astro Wing crash-landed in a heap. A few hours have passed before Terry regained consciousness and used her hand to lift up the rubble. She found Sue, who didn't wake up yet. She called her name, but there wasn't any luck. Then she cried out, wondering if there was anyone left to help her. Fortunately, Johnny responded, and even though she liked him the least, she was glad to see him. She told him that his sister's still out of commission. Then they heard a moan coming from the wreckage. It was Ben, still in his human form. They assisted and asked him if he was okay. He was a little dizzy, but intact. Relieved and thankful, they wondered how they were going to fix the Astro Wing and stop that demon. "It was Mephisto. I heard his name a couple times while I was out." "Never the worrier," Johnny responded. "Whoever he is, that demon is one serious fighter to beat. We've got to do something, guys. We won't survive another minute from him. I have an idea. We stay and repair the ship, or at least try to, while one of us searches for Shalla-Bal. Yeah, we have those buttons on our uniforms where the emblem is. Reed just installed them just before we came here. You're leaving me? By myself? You'll be fine. We're here. Oh. Alright, one of us should keep an eye on Sue just in case. Ben made a small utility belt for Terry, consisting of some tools, a flashlight, even a taser. You certainly are a handyman, Ben. If you need us, just hit the button, but press and hold to talk to us. The duo wished her luck as she searched for Shalla-Bal alone, or worse, find herself in Mephisto's shadow. Meanwhile, topside, Reed and Norrin trekked on. At times they got into a debate. We should check on Sue and the others, Reed said, but Norrin refused. The longer they wait, the less chances that Shalla-Bal may still be alive. Reed tried using the alarm, but the signal went blank. He hoped they'll be okay. They saw a bunch of corpses moaning, and they split up as they went through passages with flames thrown at them. Shortly, they went on together. Terry at times called Shella's name to see if she's nearby. With a flashlight in one hand and a taser in the other, she wandered while avoiding burning coal. She stepped on a small pile of broken glass and saw a torn vent. She went on all fours, struggled to take off the cover, and shined her flashlight inside of it. She removed a big cube blocking the vent and smelt something that was rotting like a corpse. When she saw it in the corner, her heart quickened as she went out and pressed on. Did you find her yet? Ben said. Terry pressed the button and said there was no luck, but she did see a lot of corpses. The place was giving her the jitters. She ventured to what seemed to be a hallway with a series of doors. She felt her way, tapping on all the walls for some kind of secret passage. She tried the first door and went down the stairwell to a dark room. She heard moaning, and there were zombies coming from the wall. She called for Shalla-Bal, but there was no answer. She remembered Norrin's words, that it almost looks like Sue, since at the Russian prison, that she reminds him of his lost love. If you've seen Rise of the Silver Surfer, you should know this. Very underrated. Terry turned back and stepped on a stick which broke and woke up some of the zombies. They groaned louder and she tried to break from the walls. Frightened, she grabbed her taser and shocked one. A cracking sound came as she made contact. She ran and shut the door behind her. Breathless, she tried the second one at the right. She came to another stairwell and walked on wood. In some spots, the flooring was flimsy as she heard a squeaky noise telling her the boards may be loose. She found a rusted long sword and heard a thump from the top floor. She whispered for Shalla-Bal, then hit the button on her uniform. A buzzing sound came off, signaling the others that she needed help. She immediately looked behind her with the flashlight, tripped, and fell through some baseboards into a pool of putrid water. It was so disgusting she felt sick to her stomach. Just then the water drained to reveal corpses floating. Frantically, she tried to find a way out. She felt a hand touch her shoulder and yanked it off. She stood and pushed herself up to escape. She grabbed the sword and wished she'll take a nice long shower after this mission. Johnny and Ben were repairing the Astro Wing along with a few more supplies. They were actually using dead demons as tools. These body parts may be very useful. At this rate, it can actually fly again. I don't like the looks of this. This place is like Stephen King's or Stanley's worst nightmare. He was holding Sue in his arms when she began to stir. She didn't quite open her eyes, but kept calling Reed's name. He told her to quiet down. Then she said that he must be careful and that Mephisto was a soul snatcher. He assured her that she'll be all right while Ben put some touches on the ship. Reed and Norrin came to a hot, dark place which almost resembled a throne room. Reed stopped abruptly as he felt a pulse. Thanks to Terry's powers, he sensed that Sue just woke up and was calling his name. He hit the button on his uniform and whispered to Norrin what he discovered. Suddenly, they heard a piercing scream. He thought it was just a sound effect to trick them, but Norrin knew it sounded like Shalla-Bal's voice. He whispered in a hoarse voice for her name and reached for the back of the throne, quickly turned and Mephisto pushed him back. They skidded to a stop and he said in a maniacal voice, "You're so predictable, Norrin Rad. Like a damsel in distress." Suddenly he no longer felt Shalla-Bal's life force and realized what happened. You killed her?" Reed immediately told him, "Norrin, don't listen to him. She's not dead. You told us before who she is and what she looked like. It was good enough because I could sense her presence. She's here, Norrin. She's here." "Not for long," Mephisto said as he raised his hand, pushed Reed back, and felt as if he was being squeezed. "Not if I take your soul first." Norrin realized that he's immortal and grows stronger with each soul he takes. Even though the board was from powerful Galactus, he may not stand a chance. As Reed was screaming in agony, he did the unthinkable. He charged at Mephisto and fought with everything he had. During the clash, Terry heard a female voice. "Shalla? Shalla?" She found her at last with her arms raised up in chains. Her mouth was covered by tape and she looked 99% like Susan, just the way Norrin described her. Except maybe for the hair, I guess. She used her sword to cut off the chains and Shalla-Bal took off the tape. "Susan! No! You're Shalla-Bal!" She asked how she knew and Terry said that Norrin sent them. "They'll come later. They're fighting Mephisto." She said that they won't survive. She too fought him, but was close to dying. Terry carried her to the Astro Wing as they talked more about her loved one who wasn't seen in years. After a short duel, Norrin went out of breath. Apparently, the board wasn't as strong as Mephisto. He looked at Reed, who was being squeezed to death. "All right. If I have to offer a soul to you, let it be mine." Norrin stepped off his board, walked to Mephisto and knelt down. He let go of Reed and said, "I knew you would see reason. I could use a drone instead of a corpse. You seem to be more valuable. Wanted to use the surfer as a servant like Galactus, not to destroy, to dominate." Grabbed a shiny red spear and was about to throw it at him when Fanan stepped in. "Norrin! No!" He kept screaming and suddenly it impaled him. He fell into his half-brother's arms. Out of nowhere, a bomb hit him and blew up the throne. "Back! And fully charged," Terry announced in the cockpit. Reed ran to it while carrying a bleeding Fanan, and Ben explained that the damage they'd withstood had been minimized by 50% thanks to the demons they found. The team reunited. Shalla-Bal stepped forward and called Norrin's name. He looked up and was caught in her eyes. He stepped onto the board and looked closer at her. Then they were in each other's arms. "You came back," he said while he was blinking back tears. Mephisto started to rise as the room collapsed. They were trapped, but Norrin knew the way. The Astro Wing followed as he led them out. Demons and other creatures chased them, but luckily they escaped to the mothership. Fanan was taking short breaths as he told Norrin not to worry about him. "Good luck, brother. I'm sorry that I can't," Fanan said as he closed his eyes. He sacrificed his life for Norrin while he was selling his soul. There were a few sobs and Drake begged him to bring Fanan back, if possible. Norrin was in Shalla-Bal's arms once more. He tried to kiss her when he noticed something he couldn't touch her. Shalla-Bal concluded that the reason was, even though they found her, she was missing something. They only found her soul. Man, that was awesome! We all know Mephisto is the Satan incarnate from the Marvel universe. So, of course he's immortal and can't die. The scenario when Terry was looking for Shala was roughly inspired by that scene from Disturbia. It was quite a twist that Finian, Norrin's half-brother, willingly sacrificed himself to save his soul. Now, Shala's missing, and they're on their final destination to get our body. Stay tuned for the epic finale. Until then, this is the Ekron Writer signing out. So, stay tuned for that.